Tanya Kane-Perry.
And I'm Michael Taylor Gray.
With NewsWrap, a summary of some of the news in or affecting LGBTQ communities around the world for the week ending October 31st, 2020. The case against the Nigerian 47 is over, but it may not really be over. Federal High Court Judge Rilwan Akiwa struck down all charges against the men on October 27th based on lack of diligent prosecution. However, the cases were not dismissed, and the defendants could be rearrested and charged with the same crime at a later time. The 47 men were arrested for being gay in a raid on a Lagos hotel room in 2018. All the defendants claimed that they were just attending a birthday party. They pleaded innocent to police charges that they were participating in an initiation into a gay club. The lack of diligent prosecution ruling was a judicial understatement. No witnesses appeared over the course of several postponements, and the prosecutor failed to show up to argue the case in the latest court hearing. Homophobia is entrenched in Nigerian society, condemned by both Muslim and Christian leaders. The West African country passed laws banning marriage equality in 2014 and made same-gender sex punishable by up to 14 years in prison. Anyone who registers, operates, or participates in gay clubs, societies, and organizations, or directly or indirectly makes public show of same-sex amorous relationships, is also subject to up to 10 years in prison. This was seen by some as a test case because it was the first prosecution under those laws. In view of the court ruling, Emmanuel Sadi of the Initiative for Equal Rights urged the government to remove or repeal those laws as unenforceable.
The Nigerian 47 are free, at least for now, but the scars from their experiences will last a lifetime. Each man has been stigmatized ever since they were identified by police in a televised news conference the day after the raid. Taxi driver Onyeka Ogwagamba says he merely drove people to the party. He's glad the case has been struck down, but since it was not dismissed entirely, and he can still be rearrested at any time under Nigerian law, he told Reuters, "I am not happy because I'm looking for the matter to end in a way that people will see me and believe what I have been saying from the beginning." Chris Agariga was also caught up in the raid and has been ostracized by his family. He told Reuters, "This has caused a lot of damage in my life."
An ordinance that protects the rights of lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, queers, and intersex people in the city of Manila against any and all forms of discrimination solely on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity or expression is now in effect. Mayor Isko Moreno signed the law on October 29th. A number of other municipalities in the Philippines have already enacted similar legislation, but passage of the ordinance in the nation's capital city is seen as a significant advance. First-time violators in Manila face up to 6 months in jail, heavy fines, or both. The mayor and members of the city council wore rainbow-themed face masks to mark the official announcement of the new laws. Mayor Moreno said, "Everyone should be treated equally, respected, understood, and be shown compassion. We are all equal here. We will not allow discrimination." The ordinance also creates the Manila Gender Sensitivity and Development Council. Its members are appointed by the mayor and charged with monitoring complaints of violations and assisting victims of anti-queer bias. In the wake of Manila's move, equality activists are turning up the heat on the government of President Rodrigo Duterte to pass similar legislation at the national level. According to philstar.com, an LGBTQ anti-discrimination bill has been stalled in Congress since it was introduced more than 2 decades ago.
More than 14,500 people have signed an online petition published by Estonia's Green Party to amend the country's Family Act to open civil marriage to gay and lesbian couples. The petition can still be signed until December 24th, but it's already surpassed the 1,000 signature threshold and must now be debated in the legislature. Green leader Kasper Kurve marveled at how quickly the petition qualified for legislative debate and at the support voiced by members of other parties. He said, Society has given an extremely clear message which can no longer be overlooked. However, a public opinion poll conducted in June found 55% of Estonian respondents voicing opposition to marriage equality. During a recent interview with Deutsche Welle's Russian-language news service, Interior Minister Mart Helme advised LGBTQ people to all move to Sweden. He called anyone opposed to civil marriage being limited to one man and one woman a heterophobe. But President Kirsti Kaljulaid and Prime Minister Jüri Ratas quickly condemned Helme's inflammatory remarks. A referendum on amending Estonia's constitution to create marriage equality is reportedly set for some time next year.
Chile's leading queer advocacy group has pulled out of a marriage equality and adoption rights agreement with the government. This according to the Washington Blade. Tired of waiting for the government of equality-resistant President Sebastián Piñera to act, the Movement for Homosexual Integration and Liberation, or MOVILH, announced its formal withdrawal on October 16th. That was the very day a Chilean Senate committee held a hearing on the languishing bill. It began in 2012 when MOVILH filed a lawsuit at the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights demanding marriage equality on behalf of 3 queer Chilean couples. The group subsequently signed onto an agreement with the Commission and the government of then-President Michelle Bachelet, charting a path to marriage equality. A civil unions bill took effect in 2015, with the promise of full marriage equality legislation the following year. Then, in January 2018, the Inter-American Court of Human Rights ordered all 20 members of the Organization of American States that had not already done so to open civil marriage to lesbian and gay couples. Legislation in Chile is still stalled. MOVILH spokesperson Oscar Rementerra said in a press release that if the Piñera administration reverses course, we are willing to resume the dialogue with the government to reactivate the agreement that the state signed with MOVILH.
The Texas Behavioral Health Executive Council voted unanimously on October 27th to restore anti-bias provisions to the Code of Conduct for the State Board of Social Work Examiners. Those anti-discrimination protections were removed in mid-October under pressure from Texas Republicans Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton. The council vote came after an immediate national uproar, including a petition posted by the Texas chapter of the National Association of Social Workers that was signed by more than 24,000 people. However, the council also asked Attorney General Paxton for his legal opinion on the issue. That drew concern from Equality Texas, the state's leading queer rights group. They described Paxton as an attorney general who has built his career in part on promoting discrimination against LGBT+ Texans. Texas laws do not protect LGBTQ people from discrimination. Democrats State Senator Jose Menendez from San Antonio and State Representative Jessica Gonzalez from Dallas both pushed the council to restore the protections. They said they'd file legislation next year to protect marginalized groups from discrimination.
Finally, the Grimm's fairy tale with Trump henchman Mike Pompeo as the villain ends happily. The U.S. State Department has given up trying to deny citizenship to babies born abroad via surrogate to married gay and lesbian parents. 2 couples had lawsuits in federal court challenging the State Department's claim that their children had been born out of wedlock, even though their parents are married same-gender couples. U.S. citizenship under similar circumstances is automatic if the parents are heterosexual. In August, the State Department appealed a federal court decision affirming the U.S. citizenship of Chevy Chase, Maryland fathers Roe and Adiel Kiviti's child. Little Kesem was born in 2019 to a surrogate in Canada. The department was expected to appeal a similar ruling involving married Atlanta, Georgia gay dads Derek Mees and Jonathan Gregg, whose surrogacy child was born in England. Both couples were represented by the queer advocacy groups Immigration Equality and Lambda Legal. Their attorneys announced on October 27th that the appeal in the Kiviti case had been formally withdrawn and that no appeal would be pursued in the Mees-Gregg case. A statement issued by the Mees-Gregg family said of their daughter that, "All we ever wanted was for Simone to be treated fairly. This process has affirmed for us that standing up for equal treatment is always right, no matter how difficult it is or how long it may take.
That's NewsWrap, global queer news with attitude, for the week ending October 31st, 2020. Follow the news in your area and around the world. An informed community is a strong community.
NewsWrap is recording remotely during the COVID-19 emergency. It's written by Greg Gordon, edited by Lucia Chappelle, produced by Brian DeShazer, and brought to you by you.
Help keep us in ears around the world at thiswayout.org, where you can also read the text of this newscast and much more.
And you can listen to NewsWrap each week by subscribing to our This Way Out radio channel on YouTube. For This Way Out, I'm Tanya Kane Perry. Stay healthy.
And I'm Michael Taylor Gray. Stay safe